This is my Minecraft world. So as you can see, I've already had my perfect start to our hardcore world. We're 450 days in, I have netherite, I have unlimited totems, and I have a giant mega base. But I still find myself not knowing what to do next, and I really want to make this a forever world. Now what's different from this world from a lot of other hardcore worlds is we don't have farms that make 100,000 items an hour, we don't have the Millennium Falcon, and we have builds that look like this. This has been my storage system for the past 450 days, and it's pretty lackluster. It's got all the basic necessities, but it really doesn't fit in with the rest of the builds I've put in here. As you can tell, this was my first build I ever made in the world, up to the last build I made, and my style's really changed, and I find that really interesting. I feel like a lot of the times with hardcore Minecraft is builds get too extreme. You don't know what to do next, and you don't know how to finish it, and that's kind of where I'm at with this giant mega base. Is I kind of have a place to sleep, but there's nothing else really in here, not even decorations, and I kind of want to fix that eventually. But for today, we're just going to focus on completely revamping this and adding something new to the world. So the idea I have in mind is I want to create a storage that looks like punk records from One Piece and have it floating in the sky and take up a large part of this portion of my world right here. And it's going to need a lot of materials. Alright, so I've finished grabbing all of the concrete powder that we need. Magenta, purple, all the blues. Basically any color I think we're going to need. So next I'm going to turn about half of it into actual concrete, and then we can start moving on to some other materials that we're going to need. So an easy way to turn all of this into concrete is by going into this little building here. Then we have this concrete farm. Basically you just put a bunch of powder up in the top. You put some in your offhand just like this, and then you just place it in mine and you just hold left click and you sit here. Alright, so I went ahead and got all the concrete that I think I'll need. I got a bunch of colors, and then I have just extra powder if I need it, and then I also got some dirt, some chests that we can store stuff wherever we're going to build it. Next up, we're going to need some deep slate, which I have none of. We're also going to need some just normal stone bricks. So I'm going to go on a mining trip right now. I went ahead and gathered the rest of the materials, a bunch of andesite, stone, some deep slate, some wood, and now we're just going to go ahead and move everything over there like this. So I got everything, all the materials are over here, and it's ready to start building. I think I'm going to make it right here above kind of this area. If you've ever seen One Piece, you know that Punk Records, my inspiration for this build, is floating in the sky. So I want to have it so that all my storage is looking over everything I've built so far. I've been building the base of the island, and I'm already out of stone, so we're going to have to go get a bunch more, because this is still nowhere near the size I actually want it to be. Right before my eyes, opposite the shade, blinded by the glitter on your face. I could sip the sky, let it rain. Oh, how I am while I'm great, fucking up my chance since it's okay. All the latest times you save me. And we're done. That's it. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out so far. I'm going to add more details eventually after we actually complete the build, but now we can at least move on to the next part. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be building the spikes that you see at Punk Records. I'm going to build them out, coming out from the island. I'm going to be using a lot of white concrete, a lot of polished diorite. I guess we'll use some concrete powder too. I'm going to fool around, figure out how I want it to look, and then we can build all of them. So I went ahead and I finished all of the spikes on half the island. The other half is going to be almost like a cave coming over with more spikes coming down from the top. I'm in the process of adding these little connections to it just to give it that more blended look. And so yeah, now I just have to do it on for all of these. So once I'm done with that, which will be right now. So I went ahead, finished all the spikes, all of the connecting pieces, and we can start building the dome that our storage system is going to go in, and then we can get to decorating the island more, and then we'll be done. So we can start building that right now. Alright, so this is what I have so far, building the dome right now. I'm doing kind of a color gradient, and it's going to be open right here and then closed up on the top. And I'm kind of just going to keep repeating this process and see how it turns out, because I'm not really sure. Alright, so it's been a bit of progress. I'm filling in sort of the top layer. We can take a look at it right here. See what we got going. I'm liking the shape of it. I think we're going to add a little bit more here, and then I'm going to smooth out some of the color grading. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this top layer. Ooh, low-key glass might look good here. I just thought of a new idea. Replacing the last glass of the build, and then we'll be done, and we can move on to everything else. There we go. Oops. We're back. I took a long break. I got bored, and now we're back. So I finished up the shaping of everything. Go ahead and look. It doesn't look as weird anymore. I like how it came out. And so the next thing I'm going to add is the little kind of floating pillars that go around this. And then after that, we'll work on the interior and get everything all set up for the storage system. I think I'm going to make my first one around this top of this orange section. I think probably out here is best. Also, one thing I've realized is, I don't know if I can zoom in, that I forgot to light up everything underneath. So there's about 1 million mobs that live under there now, but something we'll fix later. They definitely need to be a lot bigger, and I think a little bit more form. Alright, so I'm finishing the last one right here. I might add some little details to them later, but I'm ready to move on. So let's place the final blocks. I'm just going to do one more cube. When I'm putting torches in them, I'll put carpet over it later, but that is done. We'll take a little look around. Alright, I want to fly in from outer render distance and see how this looks. And we're good. So officially enter. Yeah, it looks really cool from inside. Alright, now that that's done, it's time to figure out this item storage thing. I've never built an automated storage before, so this is going to be fun. I'm going to go get all the resources, and we will go back into the base. Alright, so I went ahead and got all the materials over here. Some building blocks, iron for hoppers, all the redstone stuff, and then some more building blocks. And I'm going to be making it right about here in the back corner. So we'll get started on building. So in Punk Records, Dr. Vegapunk's lab is a giant red lab kind of in the middle, so I'm going to kind of go for that and then have the main bottom floor be the area for all the storage. Nope, 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 nope. Forgot to put lighting up there. Oof. Did I get him? Got him. Now the door. It's got a cool door, so.
finished the entrance. It kind of just have kind of a corridor, and I got rid of the beacon because it was in the way. But I actually really like how the iron looks on the floor, considering this is a laboratory. So I think I'm gonna go grab everything from my iron farm and replace the floors in here.
And now the floor is complete. Since this was uneven before, I gotta get rid of all this dirt and replace it with black concrete real quick. Alright, it is time to figure this out. I've never done any sort of redstone before, so I'm just gonna be following a video and hope that this all goes well. I'm gonna do kind of my own improvising because I wanted to wrap around and go to that side as well, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet, but I'll figure it out. So I'm just gonna jump to when all the redstone's done because it's gonna take a long time. Alright, so I'd like to say I'm like halfway done. I have a lot of the redstone done, and now I'm just setting up the input and output chests. But I already ran out of hoppers. I only have 3 left, and I probably need about 30 or 40 more. Did not think that it would take this much. Luckily, we have an infinite amount of iron. And turn them into hoppers. Should probably be good for now. I think that these just link up like this. I think it all has to start over here. I can't start it in the middle, which would be cool. If I put items in over here, then they have to go through all these and through all these and finish out there if there's anything that we can't sort. I think we have just enough. And I believe that these will go down if they match, and then this should allow it to keep on going through.
Alright, well everything's done. And now I think the hardest part is I have to find 26 items that I want to use as my mass storage. I can obviously add more, maybe make another layer eventually, but I'm trying to look for probably the 26 most used items that I'm gonna have. Let's do dirt, cobble, wood. So now if we just throw in all this stuff, and I'll just let it run for a second. You can see it's obviously going somewhere. Just is it going into the right stuff? And we'll check that chest and these and see if it worked. Let's check over here first. Something went wrong. Alright. Let's go find our blocks. Is this supposed to be on?
So I had all of the items in the wrong hopper. They were supposed to be in this one right here, and I had them on the bottom one. So now we just throw in all this stuff. It should work. So I'm just gonna let that go real quick.
Also, I like the beacon in the middle of the room. I'm gonna get rid of that block there. Then it's gonna shine through the kind of like Tesla pole that's above this, and I think it's gonna look really good. So my inventory is really cluttered now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and see how this works. I'm just gonna throw all this crap in there, and we're gonna see what gets sorted, what doesn't, and then we'll see if we need to change anything or add anything more to it, and I think that'll be perfect. Definitely gonna have to add more eventually. I think a second layer would look extremely cool in here. I think I just gotta cover some stuff up now and make it look a little bit nicer.
Alright, I said I was gonna make it nicer. It's done. And it looks incredible. So we're gonna get our first look right.
I like the way that she walk. I like the way that she move. I like the way that she feel. I like the way that she groove.
Yeah. I live off your love and my heart beating for you. You say you wouldn't lie to me. I hope that.
I think this came out so good. Kind of just went off brand and kind of did my own thing with these that I thought might look cool. I looked up some images and saw them, and so that's kind of my inspiration, and then adding in like the pipes and stuff. But now the inside. I think this just came out so good.
Got a little trash pit. All of the automated items with the item that's going into it on the floor. I then went ahead, this is the input chest, added just some extra bulk storage on stuff I didn't want to create a whole system for. I ended up expanding it to this spot. This is the shulker wall, if I need to grab a shulker box. Some more storage over here, and then the extra chest. I'm keeping some similar items in there that can't be sorted in because you can only sort one thing at a time, so things like wood have other items in there, but I think this looks so good. Came up with this kind of floating effect for the lighting because it was really dark in here. The black concrete is like a solid dark black, so I love it. I think it looks so good. I'm definitely gonna be spending all my time here. Even from the outside, it looks so good. But yeah, this thing took forever. The shell alone was probably the worst part. That took me the longest amount of time, and I kind of just stopped playing after finishing it because I didn't really like how it looked, but came back to it, did some reshaping on the bottom. I think it looks really good now, and then this just all came together really fast after. I love it. I love the extra storage up top with the little walkway. The spot to put the shulker boxes. So that's it. We built Punk Records or Dunklo Records from One Piece. I think it came out so good. Definitely going to be spending a lot of my time in my world here. And yeah, I'll have to think of a new project to start now that I have this exquisite storage space. I just can't get over how good it is. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this process. It took a long time. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, share it. Yeah, and let me know what I should build next. Bye.